So I'm sure you guys have wondered the concept of death. You sometimes wonder, I wake up and then I'll just die one day. I'm just playing Osu one day, clicking the circles, twerking Valley of the Quandale on the beat, and I'm basically just playing Osu and I'm just having a great time. But then I randomly have these thoughts, wait, what's gonna happen when I die? I mean, do I just go into a complete nothingness, this absolute state of dread, and I go sink down into the deeps of hell like I'm having a Minecraft lag spike? Or am I just going into an afterlife? I believe in the mashallah, alhamdulillah, or I'm believing into the God, and I'm gonna rebirth, or perhaps I'm gonna rebirth as a slime in a different world, or I'm going to become into the afterlife, heaven or hell. Whatever your beliefs are, you guys are probably wondering about death. But in this video, I want to talk about is Osu game dying. It's kind of a weird bridge, but I want to just talk about this because I saw this one Reddit post where this guy was talking about, is Osu game going to die? And I saw this and it obviously got downvoted to hell, because why would you post this in the freaking Osu game subreddit where everyone is optimistic about the game and wants everyone to complete better, to get, just have the vitalization of the video game. Like, everyone just wants this thing. It's quite good for Osu game, and people just like do not want it to die. And I want to answer this seriously because I think people are just very one-sided about this and kind of just believe, okay, Osu game's gonna live forever, it's the best game in the world. But in the reality of it, everything is going to die one day. There is no such thing as an eternal lifespan. There is nothing in this world that is completely infinite, and Osu game in reality is one of those things. But in my opinion, I think that whole lifespan of Osu dying will take a long time. It's not going to die anytime soon. But I do want to give some metrics for what's happening recently within the last couple years of Osu game. So I want to first address the player count. So player count wise, it does increase every year, because it's not like accounts get deleted automatically if they get inactive. They just get inactive. So player count just increased every day or every week, which is overall good for the game. And how the whole funnel for how player count increases first is that first people see the attention of the game, they hear about it, and then they look into it like a whole fucking rabbit hole, no pun intended. They're gonna go through the whole shorts, the whole content, and look through the attention of Osu game, go through the whole funnel for Osu game, and be like, oh, well, this is a freaking circle game where people are clicking the circles to the meat, so I'm just gonna download it and I'm gonna go play some Osu games, just click some circles, have a great time. And they eventually get to the funnel where they start being a fan and start watching other shit and be twerking on the other maps and get 1000 PP plays and just be absolutely go to that Osu game, right? That's pretty much what's happening with the whole overall funnel with how Osu game gets more players. It's just attention. That's the first thing. And then they convert it into actual players that play the game, and then people are going to buy a supporter because they love the game. Like, that's probably like the business model for how Osu game works right now. Attention in terms of marketing, whether it's the Osu content creation or if it's Pepe himself making these tweets or just yapping about Osu game. Essentially, it's just a self-sustaining environment right now. That's kind of just how Osu works. And I think in terms of that, I don't think it will die. Like, it's just going to completely get shattered, because as it stands, even if Pepe just leaves itself, like, I think the only way it will die is if every Osu content creator in the world to stop playing and every player to stop playing. Like, Osu game just completely had no more attention, and like a new rhythm game came out, because rhythm games wise, Osu is the #1 rhythm game still, even though there's a lot of other rhythm games. And it also might be because the rhythm games doesn't have a high competition. It's not really the most popular niche in terms of video games. People are going to be playing MOBAs like League of Legends or FPS games like Valorant. Like, that's kind of what's happening for these games. People don't really play rhythm games as a dominant space. But in terms of rhythm games, Osu game is very popular, and as long as it stands as the market leader for rhythm game, it's going to be fine for the short term, at least in the next like 10 to 20 years, in my opinion. The day comes where Pepe probably steps down, or maybe he just dies someday, and like 100 years later or something, maybe we invent how to live forever and Osu never dies. But I don't know if that's going to happen in the next couple of years. But basically, if that happens, then yeah, Osu game probably has more of a chance of dying if nobody develops it. But I think people are going to come back and be twerking on it and be like, yeah, I'm having fun. And sometimes to twitch.tv, I think the view count wise is completely fine. It's pretty stagnant. I think it's probably not like increasing, but decreasing wise, if it did decrease at all, it's probably a little bit. Like, I think it's pretty stagnant. It's not that high. But in terms of YouTube, I think in YouTube Osu game, like, it's probably dying a little bit, right? Because if you look at the other Osu videos back in the past, you're gonna be like, oh my god, these videos get like 100,000 views. But nowadays, a video of Osu to get over 100,000 views is so crazy. But I also feel like this is due to YouTube space being a bit more inflated and saturated, where people are gonna make these videos like Mr. Beast, hyper-pace edited, like AryN Osu or Stu Osu or Nerding, so like these guys making the go-to documentaries. But that's pretty much my thoughts about it. And on the topic of the documentary Osu YouTubers, I want to talk about something a little more serious about AryN Osu, because his situation right now seems a little serious right now. Because if you guys do not know what's going on with him, he's essentially this Osu documentary YouTuber. He makes great content, and he posted on Twitter, guys, I want to die. Like, this is a pretty serious subject. I'm not gonna make like crazy jokes like just like in the beginning of the video anymore, but I just want to talk about it just heart to heart, guys. Like, what the freak is going on? Just tell you guys the facts really quick. Where he basically said this, and AryN is not really the type of person to like be completely transparent upfront about this. He is known for making the dark and edgy jokes in his videos, and he's like, guys, I was like joking. And he also has a bit of a condition like bipolar, so he's gonna have his mood swings here. So perhaps he's having these mood swings. That's kind of how it was with that one tweet. And I first saw it and I was like, okay, well, whatever, it's not that bad, it's just AryN being AryN. But then like 12 hours later, he made a freaking pulling the trigger moment where he's like, he's not really the type of person to show his face, but he freaking did a face reveal, and I saw the picture and I've seen his face before, so I realized this actually is him, and I'm like, oh, okay, so he just revealed his face to everyone, where he's a bit sensitive about people showing his face, and he also doesn't want people to dox him like back then where he was actually getting doxed a little bit. So this is a bit suspicious, and he's like, guys, before I go, I'm gonna show you guys my face. And I saw this and I was like, okay, what the fuck? Like, I don't check Twitter that often, but I checked it out and I was like, okay, I'm gonna DM him and see what happens. And I messaged him, haven't really heard anything back. It has been 11 hours since he posted that, so I don't know what the fuck is going on. But if you guys know what is going on with him, then please like tell me or something. Or if you guys are very close to him, then reach out to me like, yo, are you all good? Or perhaps it's your parents and you just wonder where he went. I don't really know what's going on with this guy, but I just want to raise awareness to that because I think it's a little concerning what's going on with this situation. And this whole subject about people knocking themselves all to death, I don't know, I don't really want to talk about it that deeply because I can't really give that much comment about it since it's not something that I am intrinsically connected to. But I think that the people that do it, everyone's got their own problems and their own reasons for why they do things, and everyone has their own echo chamber of why they do things in terms of their minds. And perhaps they should reach out to the people who have different thoughts, and perhaps it could help them change their minds. I don't know. That's probably my thoughts on it. But on a lighter note, I also want to talk about the COE, the College of Engineering, the Cowboys OSU event. Saw all the OSU content people, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna make a video about it where I met all the OSU people, which is pretty cool. But for all the people that I met and the autographs, thank you, GM. But that's pretty much all I'm saying in this video. I'll see y'all.